Hi, welcome everybody. This is Miss Penny and another of Miss Penny's favorite foods. Today we're going chocolate. So we are making a chocolate cheesecake. I'm using part keto on this, but you can definitely substitute the sugar for Splenda. I'm substituting the sugar for Splenda, and other than that, it's the same recipe. And here it goes. First, we've got to make the crust. The crust calls for 1/2 cup of almond flour. Oh, I'm sorry. 1/2 cup of coconut flour. Coconut flour. 1/2 cup. And to that, we're going to add 1/4 of a cup of ground walnuts. English walnuts. To that, we're going to add 1/2 cup of cocoa. Unsweetened cocoa. I'm using Hershey's. I put the ingredients, the picture of the ingredients in the front so that you can see it and know what the ingredients are. But a 1/4 of a cup of unsweet cocoa. 1/4 of a cup of unsweet cocoa, 1/4 of a cup of finely chopped English walnuts, and a 1/2 cup of coconut flour. Okay. Your cocoa goes in there. It does seem like a lot of cocoa. The crust is a rich chocolate crust. And the walnuts and the coconut flour gives it a whole different type of crust. You're going to love it. To that, we have to add a little over a 1/2 cup of Splenda, or you can use sugar. A little over a 1/2 cup. That goes in. And the only other ingredient that goes into the crust is your butter. I'm mixing it a little bit before I put the butter. The butter is softened, but it should not be runny. It shouldn't be all the way melted. You want it soft, but you don't want it pourable. Now to that, we just mix it all up until it becomes a crust. When this becomes a crust, we're going to put it in our pie shell. And it's going to bake on 350 for 12 minutes. Because this is a baked cheesecake. It is not a refrigerated, unbaked sweet cheesecake. It is a baked. Our custard to this, the cheesecake filling, is going to be baked as well. So this is the crust, and you just keep until you blend it. The way you would do it if you're going to have a graham cracker crust, it's going to set up the same way. But you do have to bake it. And that's what the crust. It's going to come out a gorgeous chocolate crust. And you can use this recipe for your coconut flour chocolate crust on anything you want. It'll go with any kind of tart, any kind of cream pie. It'll go with. So it's just a good chocolate crust. Now that summer's coming, you can also do like an ice cream or a sorbet, and make that kind of a refrigerator type pie. You would need to bake off this crust. But after you do that and let it cool, we have to bake this off 350 for about 12 minutes. And once we do that, we will take it out and let it cool off a little bit. Doesn't have to cool off a whole lot because we're putting it back in the oven. We just have to make sure this crust sets, and that's what we're doing. So once you do that, you just take your fingers. I've washed my hands, of course. And you just push it up to the sides as you would any kind of a crust. Push it up to the sides. Spread it out as evenly as you can. And like I said, it's going to come out like a chocolate cookie. And it alone is going to be delicious. But once you put this cheesecake, this chocolate cheesecake filling in it, man, you're going to love it. If you like chocolate, this is for you. And it really doesn't take that long. And it doesn't take that much ingredients. Most of the things, if you have unsweet cocoa in your pantry, then that's probably the only thing that would be a question on whether or not you have. Everything else you have. You have sugar, you have butter. And so, yeah, that's it. You push it in there really good so that you get a nice slice when you're ready to serve it. I don't want my crust too thick on the bottom, so I'm raising it up on the sides. And I'm also putting my finger around the rim so that part at the bottom stays the same width. Not too thick in some places. All right, that's it. That is your chocolate coconut crust for your chocolate cheesecake. We're going to be doing the filling next. While this is cooking for 12 minutes on 350, get back with you in a minute. Okay, hold on. Okay, we are going to make our filling. And the filling is pretty simple. We're going to use 2 8-ounce packets of cream cheese, which have been room temperature. We're going to use 1/8 of a cup of heavy cream. Our crust is coming out of the oven in another 3 minutes. So once it comes out, we're going to fill it and put it back in. So we've got 1/8 of a cup of heavy cream. We've got 2 8-ounce packages of room temperature cream cheese. To that, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of butter, unsalted. We are going to use 1/4 cup of unsweet cocoa. This is Hershey's, but whatever brand you want. 1/4, a little less than 1/4. A little less than 1/4 of cocoa. We're going to use 1/2 cup of Splenda. If you're using sugar, add 2 tablespoons extra if you're using sugar. But Splenda is a little sweeter than sugar, so 1/2 cup of Splenda. This is a keto recipe. You won't know the difference, but it's a lot less calories, and it's only 2 carbs per slice. To that, we're adding 3 ounces of chocolate chips. This is a 1/3 cup, so 1/3 cup of chocolate chips. To that, we are adding 2 eggs. Again, this is a cooked cheesecake. It is not a no-bake cheesecake. Last but not least, and I'm eyeballing this, but I'm going to use about a tablespoon of vanilla extract, pure vanilla. All right. Now we're going to put it in our mixer, let it blend, and whip a little. While that is mixing, we're going to take out our crust. It should be ready by now. We'll have a minute or two to kind of cool off before we add our filling. If this was a no-bake cheesecake, once we took it out, we'd let it thoroughly cook, and we wouldn't put eggs in our filling. But this is a cheesecake recipe that is authentic, so you need eggs. All right, this is bubbling hot. Out of the oven. That is our chocolate, coconut flour crust with walnuts. Finely crushed walnuts and coconut flour, keto crust. So we're going to let that cool off a minute while we work on our filling. Okay. Let me push it down one good time and then a couple more spins and then we'll be through. It looks like chocolate whipped cream. It looks like chocolate whipped cream. All right, that ought to do it. Okay, so this is it. It looks yummy. That's what it looks like. Looks like chocolate whipped cream. You got your chocolate chips in here. You've got your cocoa in here. As you can see, your crust is a dark chocolate. It's a rich, dark chocolatey. It looks like a brownie. And then your filling is a lighter, more gentle chocolate. So you fold it in there. This is going to be so good. You're going to love this. It's a tried and true recipe. And it's what's for dessert for tonight. I mean, everything goes in the pot at one time. So you really can't mess it up. So the filling is in. It's a whipped cream type crust. It's a light chocolate. It's got chocolate chips in it. It's got everything that we put in it. And now it's going in the oven for about an hour. When it comes out, it takes at least 2 hours to cool completely. Once that happens, I will let you know what it looks like, and I'll cut it and slice it so that you can see what it looks like. Okay, everybody, the cheesecake has been cooling for 2.5 hours in the refrigerator. And I just cut it to make sure that it's set, which it did very well. That is the chocolate cheesecake. It is keto. It's 2.5 carbs per slice. And this is what's for dessert today. It was in the oven on 350 for 1 hour exactly. And then it took 2.5 hours to cool. And so this is it. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and your comments are awesome. And I just appreciate it all. God bless you all. Good night.